good afternoon. My name is Juan Manuel Méndez Valverde. I've been working as a professor of English at this university, Universidad Nacional Brunca Extension. I've also worked for primary school and also for secondary education. And there are certain things that I have noticed in these 14 years of working at the university and at different levels that have brought me to this point of thinking back on what the difference between this time and my time when I was a student is. When I was a student, especially learning English, like 14 years ago, I only had the library and some, the dictionary. I had magazines, newspapers, but I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have access to internet. And still, I learned English, I guess, very well, and I could succeed. Of course, I had to work very hard. But here I am, and I became a professor of English. And now I have found that what we didn't have 5 years ago, we have it now. There are tons of devices we can use, like smartphones, tablets. We can use internet a lot, and we have thousands of apps that are very useful that we can apply or implement in our classes, in the classroom, out of the classroom. We can use them for students to do homework or extra work at home. But I have found that somehow they don't know how to use them, or they have so many things to do, so many things to use, that it seems to me that students don't know how to use those tools, those apps, those sources that we have to their advantage. And that's why I'm here. When I heard about this Congress, about how to improve education at Universidad Nacional, I went back to one of my ideas that I ran across a book, and I found that there is a concept that is called learning to learn. And what is learning to learn? Because we usually have the idea that since I taught, probably students learned because I taught something. But it is not necessarily so. Because I'm teaching, it doesn't mean that students are learning. Or because I have just read a text and I memorized something, it doesn't mean that the students learned or that I learned something. Or because I have been studying for 6 or 12 or 14 years English or any other subject, it doesn't mean that I really learned, or that I have already learned everything I need to succeed. Usually when we get to the job market, we realize that we haven't learned much of what we need to succeed in that field. So what I propose here is named or is known as LTL, or learning to learn. We are always providing students with information, readings, videos, grammar explanations, or mathematics explanations, or any other subject that we have at the university, and that's okay. Though it is the traditional way of teaching, that's okay, because we cannot get rid of the good things we have always had. But I think we have to improve, because the kind of students we have today are not the same we used to have 10 years ago, or even farther back in the past. So there is an idea called learning to learn. I have read a phrase that says that this new generation has grown, and it's going to be inserted into the job market without the abilities they need to succeed. So what I propose is this learning to learn idea. What is learning to learn? Learning to learn refers to the fact that to survive, to succeed in this society, this demanding society where we live right now, what we need is not only to learn something, but to learn how to learn things. To learn how to take advantage of every single technological device that we have, including smartphones, computers, apps, websites, and all of this. Because it seems to me that students even though they have all those resources available that we didn't have in the past, and they are at hand, and they have internet connection every day at the university, at home, and everywhere they go. It seems to me that they don't know how to use those resources that they have for their advantage. So what we are supposed to help our students reach is learning to learn, learning how to do things, learning how to take advantage of everything that I have. For example, if I have a dictionary online, I don't have to buy one. I can just go to the App Store, download it, and I can get the right pronunciation, not only by reading the symbols that the dictionary provides, but also by listening to, to the pronunciation that is available there, something that we didn't have in our time. So in a global economy like the one we're living now, the most important thing that we have to learn, students have to learn, is learning how to learn. Learning what's my learning style. Learning how I can improve on my own. Not because the teacher is useless or something like that, but because if I learn to take advantage of everything I have, I'm going to be more successful in everything I try to attain, in everything I try to get. And we move from the traditional way of doing things, like the teacher is telling the students what to do, how to do it, what's right, what's wrong, what should be done, what shouldn't be done. And we move to a more independent way of learning for students. And they are going to feel better. Probably the teacher is going to feel better too. And we are going to take profit of all the resources that we have. So how do I learn to learn? That's a very important question. How do I learn to learn? Well, the first thing is knowing yourself. And this is something that the teacher has to teach his students. Okay, know yourself. When I was a student, I learned one way, and we tend to replicate that with our students. But what if we teach them, okay, find your own way, find your own style. If this worked for me, it might not necessarily work for you. So maybe you can use any other thing that you have and, use it for your advantage. Decide or find out which one is your capacity to learn. Use the things that you have used successfully in the past. And the things that didn't work, well, don't use them again because you know they don't work. Also, think of subjects and topics that you are interested in or that you wish to learn about. And find out about strategies that you can use to learn, that you can use to improve your learning style, your learning process. And also, this is going to improve the outcomes of the process. So, there is a model that is the 5 R's of lifelong learning. The first one is readiness. It has to do with motivation, curiosity, self-belief, self-esteem. We have to, as teachers, always reinforce this in our students. Their motivation, their curiosity, their self-belief, their self-esteem. And I guess this is an era that is full of tools that we can use for that. We can use different apps like Kahoot or any other that we have available, and students are going to feel this curiosity to do something new. They're going to feel motivated, and when they see they achieve something, they are going also to believe in themselves, and their self-esteem is going to be increased. Also, the other R, the second one, is resourcefulness. Resourcefulness is the ability to learn from others and with others, applying what you have learned, learning creatively and in a flexible way. Because usually the idea is, and unfortunately even today, that the teacher is the one who knows and students are the ones who are supposed to absorb that knowledge, but that's not the point. If we rely a little more on learning from and with others, it is going to be better, because we can learn a lot not only from the teacher but also from our students, from our classmates, from our co-workers, from our even people that we have met once or we will meet one time and we will not meet again. can teach us a lot if we learn to learn with others and from others. But we have to teach this to our students for them to be able to do it. The third R is called resilience. Resilience is the ability to keep going. Mistakes are going to happen. I'm going to fail in the process. I'm going to have difficulties learning. I will probably fail 1 or 2 courses, or I will do 1 or 2 things in the wrong way, but let's keep working. Let's keep going. I have teachers, I have peers, I have classmates, partners who can help me to improve my learning. The third one is responsibility. Responsibility is very important today. Something that we have lost in our classrooms for the most. Students are sometimes not responsible enough when we have to reinforce that in our students so that they apply it in their real life, they apply it in their context where they are going to be not only in the classroom but also outside, and this is going to help them improve what they are doing. This is going to help them succeed. The final R is reflectiveness. We usually don't take time to think about what we have done, what has worked, what hasn't, what will probably work in the future, how we can improve something. And I think this is the era, this is the time to do some reflective teaching or reflect on the things we do, looking back, improving learning and performance, and practicing what we have done that, that is worth improving or putting into practice. Learning to learn is a way to offer students awareness, because sometimes they are not aware of the capacities they have or the opportunities they have of certain aspects. For example, how they can learn and their learning strengths, because we as teachers usually don't think about or don't help our students see those strengths they have. We usually pinpoint the bad things, the wrong things, the mistakes, and we don't teach them to reflect on the good things that they have and they do and they have done and that have been successful. Then also students will be aware of how they can motivate themselves and have self-confidence to succeed. Not everybody learns the same way. So by using all of these tools that we have today and teaching students how to use them to learn, they are going to feel more confident. They are going to feel more motivated. They are also going to learn some of the specific strategies that they can use to improve their memory or to make, decisions in the process of learning. And also to learn some of the habits, some of the things that they do, they shouldn't keep on doing, and also the ones that they should develop, such as reflecting on their learning, which is something we don't take time to do, to improve in the future. So what are the implications of LTL, or learning to learn? Well, first, there is a change in the conception of the teacher's role. And there has been a lot going around about, that the teacher should be a facilitator, that the teacher is just there to help students, and students are the ones who are in control of the learning. But how much of that is actually happening in the classroom? So we need a change of mind in our teachers, that we are not our students' parents or mothers or fathers. We are just teachers, and we have to let them, give them a little freedom, give them a chance to, explore by themselves, and to investigate, find out, discover what good things, what bad things they have, and how they can improve. We also have a change in the conception of the student's role, which usually is wrong not only in the teacher's mind, but also in the student's mind. The one in control is the student, with the help of the teacher, not the teacher in control and the student learning whatever the teacher wants him to learn. Now also we have to think of this as think of education, of teaching, as having a lasting effect beyond the classroom. When I teach students to learn how to learn, this is going to help them beyond the classroom. For example, in my field, English teaching, students have contact with English here in the classroom. and very few of them like to listen to music in English or watch movies in English or TV shows. But if we teach them how to learn, this is going to have a lasting effect that is going to go beyond the classroom, and students are going to feel motivated to practice in their house, when they are walking down the street or anywhere else. And as a whole, there is a change of view of the educational process, because we moved from the traditional ways of doing things to new ways, innovative ways of doing what we have been doing, but in a more motivating way for students and for teachers. The process is going to be more successful. The process is going to be more rewarding, not only for the teacher, but also for the student. But we need to go a little bit deeper in this theory of learning to learn, or the concept of teaching students to learn how to learn. I guess if we apply just a little bit of this theory in our classes, it doesn't matter the major. It doesn't matter if you have been here at the university for, I don't know, for 40 years, or you have been here only for 5, or you're just the new teacher at the university. You can go a little bit deeper into the concept of learning to learn, and you'll find out that it might give us applause in our classrooms, and it might help us a lot. Not only us, because it will also help our students, who are the reason why we are here. So I would like to tell all of you that one of the things I think will change education at the university is empowering students to use the resources and everything they have with this technological era. Teach them how to use all of these things for their help to improve their learning, to improve their possibilities to succeed in the future. If we empower our students to use what they have at hand, which is a lot, they are going to be better students. But we need to empower them. We don't have to become the owner of the class, the owner of the process, the one in control, but we have to empower our students to take control, to use all of those technological tools and websites and everything that is available today. So thank you very much.